Broadcasting around the Beltway and beyond, it's Tommy and Kelly made in DC on the Real Fun DC channel and on demand anytime, anywhere you get your podcasts.
Well, good morning. It is Tuesday, May 18th. We've got about a half a dozen Real Fun DC stories for you this morning. I'm Tommy McFly.
And I'm Kelly Collis. And of course, I'm going to be covering sports because two DC teams are in Boston right now for the playoffs.
Plus, Broadway coming to DC. A bunch of shows announced, and we'll give you who they are and when they're coming to the National Theater in just a few minutes.
And that really cool Helix that's coming to National Landing, Amazon's, is in a little bit of trouble. It's a very DC thing. We'll break that down as well.
Plus, Lafayette Park by the White House opened last week, but who's the other French guy that's hanging out there? A little history lesson for you. And what happened to all the lesbian bars? We got a lot to get to this morning, Cal. Where do you want to get started?
Of course, I want to talk about last night's game. So the Caps are in DC playing the Bruins, and they fell to them yesterday. It tied up the series. It was an overtime game. It was a really good game, but this is going to be a tough stretch of games here. So the Caps head up to Boston to play Game 3 on Wednesday night, and tonight the Wizards are actually in Boston right now because they're going to be playing the Celtics for sort of like a wild card type of game.
Nice.
It's an elimination. Winner goes on to the next round of playoffs. So that's kind of cool. But I did find a way to bring it back to the Nats. The Nats are not in Boston, or Boston's not here in DC, but the home closer for the Washington Nationals on October 3rd, we're playing Boston. So there you go.
The Red Sox, right? Not like the Celtics with the Bruins.
Really? Yeah, no, the Nats will be playing the Red Sox. Yes.
Hang on. If you can make it about the Nats by picking a game that comes up in October, I can be ridiculous about whether or not they'll play the Celtics.
Well, Tommy, but the Nats don't normally play the Red Sox because they're in a different division.
Oh, okay.
So it is kind of a unique thing. So I did my research. I thought you'd be proud.
I am proud. American League versus National League, or a different division like of the National League?
Yeah, the Red Sox are in the American League.
Got it. I mean, I knew that. I just wanted to make sure you knew that too.
Okay.
With your research you've done about all the Nats things. Hey, it's been more, Kelly, than 525,600 minutes since the National Theater closed its doors. And they're now announcing that Broadway at the National is coming back. So that means, obviously, with that setup, Rent is coming back for the farewell tour. So here's the deal. Later on today, they're announcing the full lineup of shows, and they're going to be doing tickets through subscribers. They have a subscription package for like all of the Broadway at the National shows that are coming back, and then individual tickets will be sold later. But the lineup is looking pretty awesome. One other thing that's cool too is they're offering a payment plan, and they're offering like all kinds of assurances, like in case, the shows don't happen for whatever reason.
Don't say that.
I know, but they said it. Those are their words. But they're like, listen, we know things are weird, and we're going to put together some like safeguards for the ticket buying public.
I appreciate that.
That's kind of awesome. Starting in December 2021, that's when it's all going to kick off. Tootsie's coming. Also, I didn't even realize that Pretty Woman was a musical. Right? So Pretty Woman the musical is coming to the National Theater.
Welcome to Hollywood. Watch your dream.
Welcome to Hollywood. Watch your drink. I think is what it says.
No, what's your dream?
That makes way more sense.
Yes, what's your dream. That's like the iconic thing where the guy in the limo yells that. Oh, she's. Yeah.
Got it.
What's your drink?
I thought I was watch your drink.
Anyway, it's exciting to see like live shows that are actually scheduled and happening. I have a lot of questions though. Rent, it's the farewell tour. What does this mean? It's going away forever?
I don't know. It's the 25th anniversary farewell tour. So I feel like it's the 25th anniversary of Rent on Broadway, and this is the farewell tour of the anniversary tour, perhaps.
Okay.
Because I got to believe that Rent is not going away.
For sure.
It makes too much money.
Yeah, that, and it's an incredible show.
Also that, yes. But I feel like that's a weird. I don't think people will be like, yeah, we should get rid of Rent to make room for something like Beetlejuice to make its way to the stage.
Easy.
I'm just prodding little Fox because she loves Beetlejuice, and I don't understand it as a musical concept. She's shaking her. I'm sorry. She's shaking her head. No. Hi.
Hi. What don't you get?
I don't know, but I said her name 3 times and she appeared.
How it works?
Also, Hairspray is coming to the National Theater, and the Simon and Garfunkel musical is coming to the National Theater. Plus, what?
I'm learning a lot about Broadway. I guess these were probably all in the queue. I didn't know that was a thing.
Yep, and also Come From Away, which is a really cool show that I am like dying to see. It talks about this group of passengers who are diverted to Nova Scotia in the hours and days after 9/11.
Come From Away tells the story of when 38 planes and thousands of passengers were diverted to the tiny community of Gander, Newfoundland and the surrounding towns. The people were welcomed off the planes by the people here, and they gave them everything they possibly could.
Oh yeah. It's a true story, and from that, weddings happened, lifelong relationships, kind of came out of that those days after that. So it's really, really cool.
Yeah, I'm pumped to see it. It actually got its like pre-Broadway debut here in DC, and a friend of mine worked for the Canadian Embassy, and she's like, "You've got to go see it." And I was like, "You're just doing Canadian propaganda. Like, I don't want to go see it." But apparently, it became like the biggest musical that's happened in a very long time. So there we go. I missed it when it was here at like Woolly Mammoth. Like, it wasn't Woolly Mammoth, but it was something like that, and I didn't see it. Should have saw it, man. Should have saw it.
You'll get your chance now.
Ford's, thank you, Jonathan. Come From Away started at Ford's. That makes way more sense than it happening at Woolly Mammoth.
Okay.
Come
Moving
From
on.
Away is not the most famous thing that's happened at Ford's, by the way.
The Amazon Helix, that building that we've seen the renderings for, that incredible, striking sort of Christmas tree glass building that's coming up in National Landing. Apparently, according to the Metropolitan Washington Airports Authority, the spiral is 35 feet too tall, given its proximity to Reagan Airport, that it causes a little bit of an issue with safety.
Because of angles.
Yeah. Because of whatever, how the airplanes come into the airport. So we'll see where this is coming from. This is coming from them. The FAA has got to get involved. Of course, Amazon get involved. I'm sure there's an architect. No one really thought about that, I guess.
Somebody probably should have.
Right. Because it is literally a block or two if you're flying over to the airport. That's one of the appeals to National Landing, is that it's got an airport like a couple blocks away.
Until later on this year, when we get an announcement that the FAA has decided to move Reagan Airport 35 feet back.
Right.
That's also possible too. Amazon just like, who do I write the check to? Move the runway.
Right.
Can we just do that?
So we'll see about that. But I'm kind of excited for the building. I know it's very controversial, but we'll see. I feel like 35 feet, you can figure out a way to shave that off or change flight paths, or I don't know.
That's like 3 floors though.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Make it wider. I don't know. Make up for it somewhere.
Just expand it versus making it.
Right.
We all have the same square footage. It's fine. I promise. We just don't have the penthouse view anymore.
That's right.
Just lop it off at the top. There you go.
Also happening in DC, Mayor Bowser had a press conference yesterday at late in the day, and she says that you no longer need to wear your mask if you're in indoors or outdoors, if you're fully vaccinated, of course, except for, and this is where it's going to get a little weird, except for businesses that require you to wear a mask no matter what.
Okay.
So I don't know if you're better off to walk in with your mask or not walk in with your mask and have someone tell you to put on your mask. I don't know. Because a lot of people, those signs have been up for so long, like someone's got to like take them down.
Yeah. I've been like playing the mask hokey pokey. Like I have it on my wrist and I'm like, do I wear my mask? Do I put it out? Do I turn myself around? Like, what do I do? Like yesterday I was walking through City Center, which is technically a private owned thing. And I was just like strutting through them. They're like, put your mask on. And I was like, okay, fine. Like whatever. So.
Well, it was probably before.
Yeah, it was like 7 a.m. yesterday on Monday.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And also happening in DC on Friday, restaurants can return to 100% indoor seating, which is kind of exciting. Although I'm in my limited research, I'm hearing from a lot of my restaurant friends that they are not going full tilt on that. There's staffing issues. There's ordering of food and all sorts of things that make it a little bit more complicated than just like, bingo, we can open up our doors.
Yeah, there's a lot that goes into those decisions. I talked to a waitress friend of mine the other day, and she was just like, I just hope people be nice. Like, I just hope when people come back, they be nice because, right, they don't have full shifts and they're working to get like everybody all on board.
Yeah. Yeah.
So steps and be nice. Be nice, people. Tip well, be patient. That's also important too.
For sure. But check because a lot of restaurants have gone to service fees and required tips.
Yes,
so,
that is also true.
It's a whole new world. It's very complicated.
You make that mistake once and you're like, you know what? I'm happy to help, but got me. So Kelly, yesterday I took a walk and I was heading home and I noticed that Lafayette Park in front of the White House is open. Now it opened up last Monday and I totally missed that, but I think we're all going to kind of do these things when things start to reopen, that you appreciate the things you didn't like necessarily, you kind of took for granted all around the city and around the region. Cause I don't know the last time I've run through Lafayette Park like a year and a half ago when it was open. And like, it's been like part of like go for a run or go for a walk or like whatever. But I don't think I ever like went through and like sat and like hang out and checked it out there. So if you're looking at the White House in Lafayette Park on the left, there's a statue of Lafayette, obviously Lafayette Park. But to the right over by Blair House, there's the other French guy that's there. And I was like, what's going on with that? And of course I made a TikTok and a reel about it, but it's a statue of Rochambeau. And I was like, Rochambeau, that's the guy from Hamilton. And then it took me down this whole path yesterday of like more research of Rochambeau, how he like commanded the French troops in the Revolutionary War. And he and George Washington were like besties, sort of. And he helped out at the Battle of Yorktown. And it was just neat to go through like a little history lesson about Rochambeau.
There you go.
His full name is very long, and I tried to get a French person that we know to pronounce it for us on the open mic button, but she didn't get it to us in time, so I'm not going to even try.
Good. That's probably a good idea.
But Rochambeau's got like 78 names in his name because after like he helped win the Revolutionary War, like he got another name, and then he came back to France, and then when he went to France, there was the whole French Revolution, and he was kind of in prison for a while because of the name that he got for helping to win, and then he ended up not getting the guillotine, but he ended up like hanging out in prison for a while, so...
That's good. It sounds like you did your thesis on this guy.
You know what? I spent a lot of time. And fun fact, he and his troops spent a lot of time in Connecticut. So in Southbury, Connecticut, there's actually a Rochambeau Middle School.
I did not know that. And I know where Southbury, Connecticut is because I went to school in Connecticut. And Southbury is very near Hartford.
There you go. Look at that. And also part of Highway 6. There's a bridge named for Rochambeau.
In Connecticut?
Yeah. Huh. Look at that. Thank you. Thank you. So anyway, you should stop and check out the statues that you see around DC. Sometimes you'll learn something. Sometimes you'll be horrified, but sometimes you'll learn something.
We do have a lot of statues.
Yes. Yes. So I don't know. Can we talk about the lesbian bars real quick?
Yeah, sure. I'm not really quite sure where we're going with this.
Perfect. Neither was I. So yesterday I'm walking home from the gym and I see two guys walking at me. They've probably never been to a lesbian bar. And one says to the other one, can you believe there's only 15 lesbian bars left in America? And that was the only thing that I heard as that like we were passing. And I'm like, clearly he's talking about some like dystopian future from a Netflix show, like prequel to Handmaid's Tale or something. Like, I don't know what's going on, but this can't be true. And so I tweeted that. And it turns out that it is very true. And there is like a serious lack of lesbian bars in America.
I did not know that.
But neither did I. I was just giving you space to comment. You don't have to comment back if you don't want to.
Well, no, I maybe not saying it's necessarily a bad or a good thing, but like I can see where many years ago when there was, I mean, obviously there was just so much discrimination around the gay population, both men and women, that you really needed a bar or a safe space to gather. But now it's just, it's obviously there's so much acceptance and there's so much, so much equality is, given I'm thinking about there's a lesbian bar. There used to be one in Rehoboth, which I go to a lot. So much has changed since that bar opened up in the 70s. So perhaps there's, it's like, it doesn't have to be a heterosexual bar or a gay bar or lesbian bar. Like we're all a little bit more together.
So I admittedly didn't spend a lot of time thinking about lesbian bars, if we're being honest.
Since you're not a lesbian, that's okay.
Awesome. Yes. And I posted that on Twitter yesterday, and I got a lot of feedback being like, no, this is real. And I'm going to lead us off with Coach T, one of our favorite peeps who even used the open mic button inside the Real Fun DC app.
Tommy and Kelly, it's your old friend Coach T here, doing a quick open mic on the lesbian bar scene. Lots to say on it, but just the rundown is we used to have a few. Definitely something that is worth attention and something we need to find some new energy around. We deserve them. We should have them. We just need to figure out ways to make it happen. So that's my opinion, because certainly it would help my love life as well, as I'm sure many others. All right, so hope that's all. My alarm is going off at 7 o'clock, so I got this in the nick of time. Hope you're all having a great day. So great to have you both back. You're awesome, and hope to chat soon. Bye.
You got it. Thanks, Coach T.
You know what? The roaring 20s are coming, right? Like they're saying like people are just going to get out and do some more stuff. So maybe we'll see one of the silver linings will be more lesbians bars.
So I think that may be on the horizon. Now just follow along my lesbian rabbit hole with me, Kelly, if you don't mind. So the Smithsonian Magazine published an article in January that they like repushed out for Pride coming up in June. And it talked about the going away of lesbian bars around the country. There were 300 in the 80s, and now there are 15 like noted specific lesbian bars in the United States. DC has one. I'll get to that because it's controversial. But they talked to this woman, Jo McDaniel, who was the manager of Phase One, which was the iconic longest running lesbian bar in America that closed in 2016. And she said in the magazine, it was a force. Losing such an institution was incredibly difficult for DC. And now she is the general manager of a league of their own in Adams Morgan. Great name, by the way. But that's controversial because it's like in the basement of a gay bar. So it doesn't have like its own like space. Coach T and I talked about this a lot yesterday on text. But there is actually, because of this phenomenon and because of the pandemic and the thought that some other lesbian bars would go out of business, they actually some women got together and started the Lesbian Bar Project.
Amazing.
Where they started soliciting donations, and Jaeger, the liquor brand, got involved and was like, yeah, we're in. We want to help out with that. And so Jaeger as in
Jägermeister?
As in Jägermeister. Yeah, totally. I would have thought Miller Lite, but whatever. So like the Jägermeister peeps and a bunch of lesbians got together and they started raising money, and they raised $118,000 over the pandemic to support the 15 lesbian bars that are still open. The two in Texas, there's two in Texas. Who knew? They ended up not taking the money, so they supported the 13 of them that remained. And there's also a documentary about lesbian bars coming out.
I did. A culture I did not know was so active.
It was my playground, my family. I remember the lost spaces. I remember when it all suddenly went silent.
Wow.
The names are awesome too, like Meow Mix. Just saying. But now I went to the Lesbian Bar Project, which their website is still up. They kind of went dark for a minute. They're coming back this year for Pride, and they are debuting soon a documentary about all the things.
Wow.
Yeah. And it wasn't something that I thought about before I heard those guys walking in the middle of the street. But as I talked to Coach T and some other friends yesterday, like the thought of having a bar that you know that like everyone there is a lesbian or some piece of the queer spectrum, that it's like a safe place, and those are needed in the community, just generally like in communities across the country. So that is really interesting. I think what you're saying too, like part of acceptance is helpful in that, and also like dating apps and the internet and all those things.
For sure. Yeah.
But everyone that I've talked to has said like it would be nice to have like an in-person like outpost. So
Right.
there you go. We need more lesbian bars. Gosh darn it. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
Learn something new every day with you, Tommy.
Look at that. You know what? This is what happens when I don't have a lot of meetings and I get like let loose on my own and I go explore the city without my mask on. I hear all kinds of stuff. And if you want to catch up with any of our past shows, my goodness, I can't imagine why you wouldn't after this deep dive. You can check out the Real Fun DC app or anywhere you get your podcast. Just search Tommy and Kelly. Have an awesome day. Thanks, Kel.
We'll see you next time.